is the Gifty O Conversations, and you are welcome. Today, on this episode, I have an amazing young man joining us, and I don't have the words to describe him. You would see for yourself. He is currently a STEM educator at the Maker's Place, and he has done so many volunteering work. There is one particular question I want to ask him, and I'm so excited to ask him. So let's get right into it. Hi, Derrick.
Hi, Miss Gifty.
How are you doing?
I'm doing very well.
We thank God. Now, first question I want to ask you is, you always seem so happy, like you don't have any troubles. Tell us what the secret is.
So, come think about it. I realize that being sad or being depressed will not help you in any way. It's rather weakens you. The best way, no matter what you are facing, just be happy. And then with a happy spirit, you see through it. So that's why I'm always happy.
Wow, because I have known you for I think 2 years. Viewers, I had the opportunity to lecture Derrick in 2 courses while he was in the university, and I have never seen him once sad or angry or depressed. Not at all. He is always smiling. He always has something to laugh about, and I have learned a lot from that. I always say that Derrick is always happy, always. So thank you for being happy and sharing your happiness with us. Do you know that your colleagues really love you?
I know so, yes.
Yeah.
They tell me like every time.
Yes, let's watch this video, okay? Let me know if you can see the video.
Yes,
can you see the screen?
Yes, please.
Okay, let's listen to this.
My heartfelt gratitude goes to my final year project supervisors, Dr. Mills and co-supervisor Prof. Kaufman, who coached and guided me and my teammates to produce a project worthy to be called a final year project. A massive appreciation to members of the Mills Kaufman Project Group for the team spirit and checks through the commencement to the completion of the project. To my group members, Blake, Fitozo, Ryder, I say congratulations and thank you for your resilience. Lastly, I would also like to appreciate my course rep, Mr. Derrick Sosoo, for the many sacrifices he made to make our lives as students of computer engineering department.
Derrick, did you hear that applause? That was meant for you.
Yes.
In fact, I can say that every lecturer loved you. We all loved you because you had a way of engaging with us together with the students that was really amazing. So thank you for that.
Thank
you. I've had the impression that you have an interesting story from your background to your decision to get into computer engineering in University of Ghana. Can you tell us a bit about your background?
Yes, so growing up, my dad had this computer school. So we were always around computers growing up. So then when I wanted to go to university, I wanted to do computer science and computer engineering, but my dad convinced me to do civil engineering. That was in KNUST.
Wow.
So in my 3rd year, I was like, nah, I'm not enjoying this course. So I decided to leave school because if I asked my dad permission to come home, he will not agree. And during those times, I was not hearing that much from my dad. But we were very close. So when I came home, I realized that he has been seriously ill. And then he was not, so that's why I was not really hearing from him. So when he saw me, he was worried because usually even in senior high, I don't come home till it's vacation. So whatever I need, he will give it to you. When it's vacation, then you are free to come home. So he was surprised I was home because that's not how we role. Like,
Yeah.
so when he saw me, he was like, he was shocked that he saw me at home because we were not talking because of his ill health, which he was trying to hide from me because of how close we were. So I couldn't tell him that this is the reason, because that would break his heart.
Yeah.
So coming home after a week, he died.
Oh wow. Wow.
Yes,
So
so
sorry.
he died. Yeah, he died that like just a week when I came home. So I was not able to tell him that this is the reason why I came home. So an uncle of mine was like, okay. He asked me why I'm home because after the whole thing, my plan was that like, I was leaving school, so I was not going back to school. And one uncle of mine asked me, so why are you home? You're supposed to be in school. I told him that this is the reason why I was at home. So this uncle of mine told me that, okay, if I want to do a different course, then I should pack my things home. Then when it's time, we'll reapply. So I was supposed to graduate in KNS in 2015, right? So I got admission, yeah. So time, it was time for me to go to school. It was time for me to go to school. I was calling him. I mean, no response. He was not minding me. So then I had to get like jobs because then my sister was also about to go to senior high. So Charlie, I have to be a man. So I was doing so one interesting thing that the British Council organized this program called Digital Skills for Africa. I was part of the second cohort. So when I went as the second cohort, so I usually go early and then sometimes help my colleagues out, like get some of the things. So it was a whole month training. So after that, I stayed on as a trainer. One of the facilitators took me as a support facilitator because like he realized that I was good with what I was doing. So I stayed back as a facilitator. Then there was this program that Google was organizing in Africa called Data Skills for Africa. One of the facilitators, so there are certain courses we were supposed to take. So I completed the course. Then the facilitator then for that program brought me on board as one of the facilitators for that program. So then, so when people saw me like, they're like, you're good, so why didn't you go to university? So I tell them. So I got to a point that I had some people wanted to, like, they asked of my results, my WAS result, and it was good. So they wanted to support me. And interesting enough, when in 2000, I applied in 2018. So when I bought the forms and yeah, I got admitted into computer engineering with my WAS results. So when it was time for me to go to school, like all these people, like they were nowhere to be found.
Wow.
They're like, yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, so I was not hearing from them, and I was like, nah, I've bought this form. I have to go. So then, like one day, I was supposed to pay. When I was supposed to pay, we were supposed to pay some particular amount before you can register. I think 60% or so. Like I didn't know where that money came from. Like I went, I was so like heartbroken. I was crying. Like I was like, Charlie, nah, this cannot be. Then some way somehow, I don't know how it happened, but I was able to pay, and then like it started. So like I was taking it one step at a time.
Yeah.
So I was working at the same time schooling. There are times that I had to travel. I had to wake up like 3 a.m. because I had to travel to Kumasi to go and run a data skills training program in Kumasi. Go to Kumasi, like, because I have to be there by 8. So I wake up by 3, go to the cycle, pick a Kumasi bus. Then there are sometimes I have like 2 sessions, like maybe back to back. Maybe in Kumasi, I have to be in Koforidua. So from Kumasi, I come to Koforidua, do the session, then come back to school. And I was combining that with being a course rep. So sometimes,
Wow.
sometimes I had some of those close friends of mine on campus, like Blake and then Martin Opoti. So like and Evans. So sometimes when I was not around and sometimes the lecturer asked, I had to travel. So they'll be like, oh, Derrick is not feeling well, so he can't be that.
Wow, Derrick. Oh, so you lied to me too.
Yeah. So sometimes I had to do that. I had to travel just to go and make those trainings. Yeah. And alongside, so I got gig as a freelance web developer too. So that's how I supported myself through school. Yeah, and like some of my friends, so especially Blake, there were times that he offered to pay my fees for me.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
like we became very close. Yeah, so that's how I managed to survive.
Derrick, I never knew this. I never knew this. In fact, honestly, I wouldn't even notice that you were struggling with something because, as I said, you were always laughing, always smiling.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, I had the best friends on campus. Yeah, yeah,
And
they're
I
always
can tell that they really loved you. They
yes.
really did. So,
So
go ahead.
so one thing like when I needed people the most and they didn't turn up, so I felt like I should be there for my classmates all the time. So
Yeah.
no matter how sometimes there are times that like the semester will become very difficult and then they'll be complaining. And I had to ensure that everyone kept their cool. So there are times that I'll call for like a class meeting on the like we had a WhatsApp page and then we'll have discussion and I'll even sometimes in class before lecture starts, like, I had to talk to them like we are like we should be there for each other. We
Yeah.
should support each other. So that was one way like I kept the class together.
I now understand. The video we watched was the 2023 congregation, and Ebo was the valedictorian. And
Yeah.
I now definitely understand why he mentioned you in his speech. I am so glad and proud that he mentioned you in his speech. So let's go back to when you did civil engineering.
Yeah.
Why did you wait till third year? You spent 3 years before you decided that you were not going to do this anymore. What happened? Why did you wait that long? And at what point did you decide that this is enough? What happened for
So,
you to say that this is enough?
so one thing is that I was not enjoying the course and I was feeling in courses I felt Charlie I could do better.
Yeah.
So I was like, nah, I can't continue this. I can't. And then one thing was that my dad, like, I was very close to him, and then I don't want to disappoint him. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
because like I've been doing well. He knows I'm a good student, so I don't. At the end of the day, I'll come out and then my God, I didn't get something that he'll be happy of. So, I mean, dad used to like he used to brag about me a lot when when he was with his friends. So
Yeah.
I had to give him something to brag about, and
Yeah.
what was coming out was not something he could brag about. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Wow. Wow. So what kept you going all those times that you were having difficulties and you were expecting people to help you and they don't show up? What kept you going to keep pursuing what you wanted to pursue?
So I'll say like I'm a Christian, and then that has been so one thing that happened to me in KNUST that I know I went there for a reason because the Bible says all things work together for good to
Yeah.
them that love God.
Yeah.
So I met a friend. Uh, she was my junior classmate, and then she introduced me to like the things of. I was not serious about things of God. She got me serious about things of God, and then I became committed. So I think that was like served as a solid foundation for me because that happened after not long ago. Then I had to leave the school. So I think like it was like very timely for me
Yeah.
during that time. So everything that happened to me in school like was a miracle, like from the friends and then how like supports like sometimes there are times that the semester was about to start. I didn't know how I was going to pay my fees or my hostel fees, but some way somehow like I managed to like pay them and then I was not owing at all. Like and then I was taking like I was not like I went through it was like a smooth sailing. There was no day that there are times that yeah, I was not sure what I'll eat the following day, but some way somehow like I managed to complete yeah, and so that was it. Like it's been good. Like I'm not even exaggerating. It's,
I can
yeah,
yeah, I can
yeah.
imagine. I can imagine. Did the thought occur to you to talk to any of your lecturers? Did you? I only met you when you were in level 300.
Yeah.
But during your 4 years, did the thought occur to you to contact any of your lecturers to ask for help, or did that thought occur to you?
So I'll say based on my previous experience where like people turn up and then they disappear. So I just didn't feel like talking to, so like I mentioned Blake again.
Mm-hmm.
He knew me like a book. So if there was something that was bothering me, he took me as his big brother.
Mm-hmm.
And then so if there was something about him, he quickly knew, and then we'll say, yo, Derrick, what's wrong? And we're like, yo. And if I'm avoiding him, be like, but you, what's up? I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm like a brother. You should be able to open up to me. Yeah. So he was one person who knew like everything that was going on with me, like that I could easily talk to. Yeah. So he was one person he was very close to me. Yeah.
I honestly now have so much respect for the class of 2023. Based on what you are telling me, I have so much respect for you guys now. And I would say for any of them who would watch this video, thank you. Thank you for helping Derrick for us, even though he did not want to share what he was going through. Now you are at Maker's Place, helping young children, especially young girls, know how to code, know how to work with Arduino. How is the experience like? Why did you decide to go there?
The experience is very interesting. So one thing I noticed about them is that they are actually smarter than you think. So usually during my sessions, I want to provoke them.
Mm-hmm.
So when I'm teaching them, during my session, I finish what I have, I plan an activity, I try and finish that early, then I throw a challenge to them.
Yeah.
And interesting enough, there's this lady, so in one of the schools, or Oyster Academy in Tema,
Mm-hmm.
it's one lady that always like finishes the task. So the first time I tried it, a boy got it.
Mm-hmm.
Then she told me that, say, Derrick, next time I'll be the first. And then
such determination.
Since then, anytime I throw a challenge to them, she's always the first to finish the challenge.
Wow.
So like I'm happy with what we are doing at Makers Place, inspiring young people into STEM, and then they are like the kids are doing amazingly well.
Mm-hmm.
And like I know with what we are doing there, Ghana has a bright future, because like this students, this young people, they might not even be able to probably maybe write like a proper code, but they understand the logics because of what they understand, that they understand the if statement and all that. So once they start maybe writing actual code, they already have the logic, and it's easy for them to grasp the concept and everything.
Yeah, I appreciate your contribution to them. For me, I did not get access to the computer till I was coming to the university. So I knew absolutely nothing about it. So starting level 100 programming for me was a challenge. I had to put in extra effort because I didn't. You tell me go to task manager and I don't even know what task manager is. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. So I am glad that these children are getting the experience early on. It would help them. Derrick, I went for an event once where we were talking about STEM, women in STEM. And one senior high school student got up to ask a question. And her question was that every day I hear people say, let's get more women in STEM, but I don't see what is going on in Ghana. They don't produce anything. They don't do nothing. So why are you even here telling us about STEM? That moment, I had to calm myself down to answer her correctly. And I told her that in our universities, our final year students for computer engineering, they do amazing projects. Amazing projects. But I think the problem is that we don't have probably good publicity or money for commercialization. I want you to address this to anyone who thinks that school is just school. We don't do anything. We just talk. Tell us about your project, the projects that your colleagues did that you think are good, that should be promoted.
So, so I think like people are not getting it. Like we are actually doing like amazing stuff. See, even for my year group alone, like what people are doing like are amazing. It's just that usually, in the Ghanaian media, they are looking for propaganda.
Yeah.
And then there's no proper news. There's no news that is channeled towards STEM to look at what young people are doing. Because if maybe we could even dedicate like probably 1 hour to talk about what people are doing. So like another thing is I'm a volunteer, like I volunteer as a community lead on some of the engaged activities in Ghana. And then I engage with some of the students, and then sometimes some of the students on their own come up with projects, and they tell me that this is what they are doing. So people are doing amazing stuff. People are really doing amazing stuff. We just have to get the rights. We just have to invest in promoting some of the things that we are doing, and then get more support, because some of these projects that our colleagues are doing are things that will probably help the economy one way or the other. But after school, it's left there, and then there's no support to even continue what they did. So I think people are doing amazing stuff. Yeah. Like you
tell
be
us
surprised
about your project. Don't swerve that question. What did you do?
So for my final year project, we're a team of 4. And then we decided to do we decided to create our own metaverse where you could like a 3D model of a classroom where you could enter and have lectures. So as part of the functionalities that we developed, you could write in the classroom, enter the classroom, sit on a desk, change slides. So that is what we came up with. And sincerely, that project was very, very challenging because people it might look easy, but it was not easy at all. The calculation, the physics, the differential equation, like if you get one calculation wrong, it will mess up the whole program. And then there are times that you have to start scrap because we didn't get some calculation right, so we had to start all over again. And then the hardware, probably the PC we're using was not fast enough, so we had to it took so much of time, because if you're rendering some of the stuff, like it took like forever. And some of the functionalities we wanted to apply, we couldn't see them come to fruition because of the PC we're using. So people are doing amazing stuff. You'll be surprised. I think they should some of the senior high school students should probably come for an excursion to some of these places and see so you can walk them through some of the projects, some of the final years. So to give them an understanding of what is going on, and then the possibilities, because they feel, Ghana there is theory, but it's not like that. It's not. There's a lot of, I think we have to re-educate people on that notion that university is to pass and forget. The university is not like that. So like the math courses we took in level 100, we were seeing them in level 400. We saw them in level 200. We saw them in level 300. We saw them in level 400. Like it's always a build on. You don't forget. You don't say, oh, maybe I finish differential equations, so I'll not see it. No, you see it in AI and machine learning. You see it in computer vision. You see it in embedded systems. You see like, and then so I think it's something we have to let them know, because people tell you that, university there, once you've done something level 100, you not see it again. ever in your life? No. Okay, so I'll speak for my course. I don't know about that.
Yes.
Probably.
Yes.
I'll speak for my. Maybe
Yes.
that's where they get the notion from. But for mine, for engineering, as a whole, you can't forget the principles.
True.
You see it everywhere. Once you have been taught, it will follow you for the rest of your life. For the rest of your life.
Yeah.
You can't forget it. So yes, exactly.
Thank you for shedding light on that, because I see memes online that say that they'll bring some math equation and they will say, what is the importance of this? If you are not in a field that actually uses those things, you will think that everything you are being taught in school is
so
not
you mean to
important.
think about what we did, and then people might say, okay, this is just animation or something.
Yeah.
But the mathematical equation behind it is you have to apply like Euler-Lagrange, and then like you think it's this
Derrick,
is just
my viewers some of my viewers don't know what Euler-Lagrange is.
So you might think, this is just simple animation, someone moving, someone writing something, but the mathematical equation behind all those things, you'll be surprised. Surprised.
I saw your presentation, your final presentation. It was beautiful. It was beautiful. I wish I had a video of it to play to the viewers. It was so beautiful. Thank you so much for that. Derrick, one last question before I let you go. What advice do you have if you meet someone who is going through a hard time? Or let's say an engineering student, because you went through engineering, who is planning on in the first year planning to go forward. What advice would you give that person?
So like one thing, like the Holy Ghost should be your friend. He's the best friend you could ever have.
Yeah.
Because he knows you better than anyone who knows you. So befriend the Holy Ghost. I mean, he's a friend already. Befriend the Holy Ghost, and then have like a proper support system. Have a proper support, like your friends and your family. They'll be the one, like when things are tough, they'll be the ones to keep you going.
Yeah.
And then like don't forget the things you are taught. don't forget, because you give yourself extra work if you decide to learn and forget. That is, you have to, when you go to second year, you might have to go back and go and try and understand the principles.
True.
Don't chew and forget. Understand the principle from the get-go, because in engineering, time is not your friend. Time is not your friend. So just get the concept right from the beginning.
True. I said that was the last question, but this is the last question because I'm enjoying the conversation. Tell us about your deadlines, Derrick. Your deadlines, assignment deadlines.
11:59. Oh, those deadlines.
I know. Sometimes you see all the lecturers are giving you some assignments, and we are all expecting that you deliver, right? We don't care who else is giving you an assignment. And I think it's also part of the training, because when you go out there and you are working with a company, they give you strict deadlines that you have to follow. So I wouldn't say that we are sorry, but it was necessary.
Yeah.
It was necessary.
It was a good experience.
Yeah.
So usually with assignments like this and deadlines, so when we realize that Charlie, it's not going as planned, we just meet as a as a team.
Yeah.
We just meet as a team. So like usually Blake is the videographer of some of these things, and then he will send us reminders of. So sometimes now he sends us videos of some like what we were doing years ago. There are times that around 11 we gathered to meet to try and finish up assignment to submit before the deadline. Those deadlines were crazy. And then interesting enough, we tried and submitted before like the 11:59.
Yes. Derrick, the conversation has been amazing. I wish it would never end, but I'll have to find some time for us to talk. This time around, our viewers will not be present, but thank you for sharing your time with us. Thank you for sharing your experience with us. I am sure everyone watching is motivated. I am glad you got to join us today. Thank you so much.
I'm happy to be on this program.
All right. I would see you sometime when I see you.
Sure.
All right. Bye, Derrick.
Bye.
If you enjoyed this video, please hit the subscribe button, like the video, and click the notification bell to be notified of our next video. Until then, please make sure you have at least one good conversation this week.